recording. Well, now it has been recorded. This is the plan of my presentation. First of all, I'm going to tell about virtual boards. During the quarantine in spring, we, the English teachers, had to study them ourselves, had to learn and study different things ourselves. And immediately we started teaching our students. Of course, as a remedial teacher, I had problems with motivation. And today I'm going to share my experience about online lessons and motivation. I'll tell you about kids with learning disabilities or just weak ones, because it's not the same whether kids are weak because they don't know the material well, but they don't have any problems, or they are rarely diagnosed. Also, I'm going to tell about problem solving while online teaching, because sometimes kids and kids and their teachers have problems. Sometimes even regular students have problems. And what can I say about kids with special education needs? Then I'll demonstrate possible stages of an online lesson. I'll tell about steps of online teaching. And finally, I'll demonstrate a lesson on Miro. It's one of my favorite boards. Well, here are the virtual boards. What you can use, it's up to you. Some teachers prefer Google Classroom, some prefer Wakelet, Instant Teach, Miro, and a great variety of other boards. What is special? You can download the materials or create yours. You can activate your students and you can enable them to cooperate. They can work in small rooms. You can use it frontally, and they can do their homework and download their works on the board. And as I have already told, I'm not going to tell about each board, but I'll demonstrate a lesson on Miro. As you see, there are a lot of graphical organizers and other tools that make your lesson interesting. What can you see in this picture? Most of teenagers throughout the world like using computer, but it's different whether they play or they study. When they study, sometimes they are bored because they realize that teachers want a lot to do, and they are supposed to do the tests, to do the homework, and it demotivates them. But when when there's time to play games, they are really interested and motivated. And sometimes they spend long hours on computers. It doesn't matter which games they play and which language they use. English or Hebrew or Russian or French, any language they can, any language that is familiar. Well, and now it's time to tell you about learning disabilities or weakness. And I teach in a school where both
I'm sorry, can you please put it on presentation mode because it's really blurry?
Really?
Just if you can just enlarge it to a presentation mode.
Yes,
Okay.
Julia, sorry, I should have told you. Yes, can you, if you go, yes, thank you. That's much better. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Much better. Sorry for that.
Thanks a lot. You are right. You should have told me before. Okay. Well, Beit Eckstein is a chain of schools for learning disabilities. But sometimes in regular classes, you can have both weak students or those who have disorders. What's the difference between weak students and those who have learning disabilities? Perhaps weak students have missed a lot of material and they don't know they don't know the grammar or vocabulary, and it's problematic to do the homework, or they cannot answer your question. Excuse me, could you turn your microphone? Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I want you to turn your microphones off. Thank you very much.
I'm on at a conference for English teachers.
Please turn off your mobile, turn off your microphone, okay? Thank you very much. Okay, perhaps the level of the group is too high for them. Some students want their teachers or peers to think that they're smart and they want to study in a group of a higher level. For example, those who are supposed to do 4 points of matriculation or bagrut, as they say in Hebrew, they ask their teachers to place them in the group of 5 points. As a result, they have difficulties. What else? Sometimes they get low grades in English, but get excellent ones in other subjects. A student can be weak in English and strong in mathematics, and vice versa. But if you explain the material well, you or his parents or other students, when you explain the material and they understand, they make progress easily, which means that they don't have any learning disabilities. And of course, motivation makes wonders. And what about kids with learning disabilities? They make the same mistakes all the time. Perhaps they have dyslexia, dysgraphia, maybe they're hyperactive, and it's very difficult to memorize the material. What else? They are distractible or hyperactive. They have unreadable handwriting, and you cannot read it, or sometimes they don't understand themselves what they have written. And they need more time. For example, in Israel, when kids do the Bagrut exams, they are given 15 or 20 minutes more to complete their task. And you should do the same in the classroom. You should give them more time to complete the task and explain. And of course, you should support them. If you believe in your students, they make progress. But certainly, kids with learning disabilities should be diagnosed so that their homeroom teachers and English teachers and other teachers would know which problems they have and how to teach them. Perhaps they need extra reading, perhaps they need to do the exams orally, and so on. Well, which problems teachers and students have while working online. Of course, as I have already told, sometimes they are demotivated, sometimes they complain that they have no power, or they have problems at home, or they have headache, and so on. They just don't want to study. But it's a paradox. Most of the kids really want to study, and we should find the key how to motivate them. They really want to make practice, even very, very weak students, non-readers. So what should you do? You should have some materials on your virtual board in store. If you use Zoom, you can place your students in the different rooms. For example, more advanced students or less advanced, and differentiate the tasks. Otherwise, you can place a weak student and an advanced one together, so that a weaker student will try to talk to the advanced student, and the second will help him. It's up to you. It depends on your students, and it depends on the situation in class, no matter virtual or real classroom. You should provide students with interesting tasks, because if they are interested, they are motivated. The tasks should require students to interact with each other. You can do it on Zoom and other boards when students cooperate. So collaboration and the ability to communicate, it's very important in the 21st century. Well, of course, the tasks should be built on their previous knowledge. Later, I'll demonstrate a grammar lesson, how to teach it in a heterogeneous class. And of course, kids like playing games, so you should provide them with variety of online games. You can use vocabulary, grammar, or literature games, or reading comprehension, listening comprehension, but provide them with different tasks. And they can do ones in accordance with their level. Now I want to share the experience that was proposed by Ekaterina Shadrova, my colleague from Russia. Ekaterina revised some patterns, the variety of interaction patterns, such as teacher class. When the teacher speaks in front of the classroom, it's a frontal part of the lesson. Class, teacher. As you see on the second picture, the teacher is silent and the students are participating. And full class interaction, which can be done in groups or in pairs. It's a full class interaction and group work, pair work, and individual work. You can do the same while using a virtual board. And just play with them. As for the opening activities, you see how I started this presentation. I asked you to raise your hands who attended the ETAI conference last year, and who attended my presentation last year. Not only last year, who has attended my presentations at least once, perhaps online, perhaps on the real conferences. Yeah. What else you can do? How can you which opening activities can you use? You can ask your students to switch on or switch off their cameras. In the real classroom, we say, close your eyes and go to sleep, wake up. In the virtual classroom, you can ask them, please turn your cameras off and go to sleep. Turn your cameras on if you visited Eilat last year. It's an example. Who visited Eilat last year? Please turn your cameras on. So if you don't know what to do, just use such games, oral games, to activate them. Here are the possible stages. Ekaterina Shadrova claims that first you should use warmer or leading. It's a frontal work. When teacher speaks, mostly the teacher speaks, and the other classmates just do what the teacher tells. But you shouldn't spend too much time to do it, just 2 or 3 minutes. While doing the leading, use different icebreakers. It doesn't matter whether you have new students in your class or maybe you have students who don't want to study and you try your best just to involve them in the process of studying. What else? Next stage is the pre-teach vocabulary. It doesn't matter, vocabulary or grammar. So if you teach grammar, for example, present simple, just play with them. For example, what do you do every day? You can start it frontally, and then it's SS. It means students interact with each other. And then, as for the yellow, it's this task 3, set a GIS task. It may be reading or listening comprehension, and then peer check and the class feedback. Well, then it's time to give the second task. Probably it's after reading or after listening activity, peer check and class feedback. Students interact with each other. If you are in the real classroom, you ask them to work. You ask them to work in groups. If you are online, you just put them into the virtual rooms. And finally, the language work. Well, and now it's time to demonstrate you a lesson. Yeah, this time I'm going to demonstrate a lesson in elementary or junior high school. In regular classes, you can teach it in elementary school. But if you have non-readers or very weak students, you can do it in the 7th or 8th grade. So I'm going to demonstrate some online materials, how to use this pattern. There is, there are, or this is, these are. Well, now it's time to go on the board mirror. Okay, I have opened it in advance, and now I'll demonstrate it. Sorry. PowerPoint. Okay. Well, just a moment. Wait a minute. Mhm. Wait a minute. Demonstration.
Are you trying to share the Miro board?
Yeah, I'm trying to share the mirror board. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can. Yes, it's still a bit blurry, but it's getting better. It's like it's loading. It's loading.
Yeah. Okay. Is it okay now?
It's getting there. Yes,
Yeah.
it's better now. It's good.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes time. Okay. Here is a game. There are a domino game. Wow, I wanted to open a different browser. Wow, I don't know what's going on. Just a minute. Is it okay now?
Blurry.
Is it okay?
It's a bit blurry still, but we can see it and we get the picture.
Okay, great.
We get the idea.
Okay, so it's a domino. I know that we're going to run out of time. So kids can do it together. For example, there are chicks on the stick. Okay. What else? There is a parrot on the carrot. So they can connect. You can use these pictures as grammar patterns and also as drills. For example, sometimes people cannot pronounce the sound there. And you can use it as a drill. There is a parrot on the carrot and they can repeat. Okay, now I am going to demonstrate something different.
Julia?
Yes. Yes.
If you may allow me. Yeah.
Sorry? Yeah. Can you see it now? Can you see and hear?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to demonstrate a game for weak students.
This is my skirt, and these are my jackets.
I'm going to make a mistake. This is my skirt.
Julia, what site is it?
It's a bookweek.net. Okay.
Bookweek?
Bookweek. BOOKVIK.
Thank you.
Yes. This is my jacket, and these are okay. I'm going to write jackets, my like in Hebrew, jacket sheli. What happens? It's wrong, and the train horns. And now I'm going to do it differently. So the train won't horn. This is my skirt, and these are my jackets. Let's check. So the train runs because I have done it right. What can you use this exercise for? First of all, You can teach the word order. This is my skirt, because Hebrew speakers sometimes say skirt my, like in Hebrew. So for Hebrew speakers, it's very important. What else? It's besides, you can teach grammar, singular, this is, plural, these are. Okay, for non-readers, I'm going to demonstrate something else.
Jacket.
Okay, I'm going to make
A.
a
C. Hey. I.
yeah. It's wrong. That's why it says oi, oi, oi.
E.
Well done.
T.
Great job.
Mhm. Okay.
Jack.
Mhm. So use different materials. Both.
Socks.
Oh, wait a minute. Just a minute. I need to stop it. Mhm. Well, just use different materials if you want your students to participate. Well, and now I am returning to my presentation. Well, if you need this presentation, you can write to me. And here is the address, Book Week Teacher English. It's a Ukrainian site from my Ukrainian colleagues, and I use it. Well, here is the link for teaching grammar, and this is the link for teaching spelling. And of course, there are a lot of different links. Okay, you can contact me using these channels. I'm on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and this is my email. Okay. You can make a screen. And
it is very blurry, sorry.
really? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Julia, it happens sometimes just after, because you were sharing screen with sound, you know, so uncheck that box which says share computer sound and share again.
Okay.
So do share screen again, but uncheck the box for the one that indicates video and audio sharing, and that usually causes blurriness.
I see. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid we're running out of time, and
Yeah, but
now
we do have time. We still do have time. So if you want to share that screen again, we still have time.
Yeah. Okay, just a minute. Here is my screen. Okay. Anyway, I have told everything, and now I am ready to answer your questions.
Can you put on the last slide again?
There were some questions coming through while you were speaking. Yeah.
Okay, let me
the screen
open
again.
Yeah, now I'll open the room. It's blurry, you can't see. Okay, you see? We all need to study all the time, no matter if you're a student or a teacher. In my country, they say, learn as long as you live. Okay, well, presentation more. We'll talk about disabilities, yes. Okay. So there are technical problems. You are asking about technical problems. What happens with students who have hearing or sight disabilities? Of course, students with sight disabilities should be provided with the materials. You should enlarge their materials so that they will see.
That's my question. And if we're working all together as a class, what do you suggest?
To work together in the class, you should.
And we're online, yes?
Yeah, when you're online, differentiate the material. When I am in a regular classroom, I have students of different levels. There are up to 8 students in each class in Beit Epstein, but sometimes I have 3 or 4 levels. I start with advanced students. I give them the materials to do, and then I work with the weak ones. Later, I give the tasks to the weak students and check what the advanced students have done. But online, in my opinion, it's easier because kids can work at the same time. Just put them in different rooms and give them different tasks.
Julia, there was another question here from hold on, from Oshrat. She was asking about the website. She says it's all in Russian. I think it wasn't Russian, it was Ukrainian possibly, yeah? Is there a way to change it to English? Does that website have an English section?
You can use the translator, and I have some friends on Facebook from Ukraine who recommended me this site. Just a minute. Yeah,
and Julia, this work, because we only have about 2 minutes. There's another question from Ilana in the chat box. Do you see it, or do you want me to read it?
Wait a minute. Where is Ilana's question?
I can just read it for you if you want.
Please read.
So Ilana asks, do you have tips to help LD pupils during a Zoom lesson that includes an entire classroom? Suggestions that can scaffold their learning.
If you teach on Zoom, you can start teaching them online and just use opening activities. You can talk even about the weather, but then you should differentiate the class. If you have non-readers, have the appropriate materials and use as more materials as possible, just in store. You see, sometimes I prepare a spoken lesson, but if I see that my students don't want to speak because they have problems at home or just don't have a mood, I provide them a game, a table game, or I offer them to use the Kahoot on their mobile phones. Not only Kahoot, different games. You can use the same games online. Yeah. Okay. Well, and the book week, you can use the translator. It's in Ukrainian language, so just use the translator to translate it in Hebrew or English. Okay. How does this, I don't understand. Eden asks, I don't understand. I'm not teaching savvy. How does this actually work in class? Does each kid get to pick the answer on his own? Yes, if you share the screen, when you teach on Zoom or on Miro, just enable your kids to use the board together so that they will be able to move the pictures or just to click the buttons together. Not only you will be able to move the pictures, you shouldn't do it, but enable your students use the programs. How to make your students use the online materials.
Julia, I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Actually, we already run a bit over time, but it's fine because we have now a 20-minute, what we call offline break. So I would like to thank Julia once again. The PowerPoint presentation she used is going to be uploaded to the ETAI website. I posted the link in the chat box. We at ETAI, we care about your well-being. That's why we've included offline breaks in the program. So now there's actually 20 minutes of nothing. So you can just grab a cup of coffee, stretch your legs a bit, and we'll see you in 20, or actually in 18 minutes at 10 to 6 for the next round of parallel sessions. And as with this session, just go to the ETAI website and click on the link, or click on the title of the session that you would like to attend at 10 to 6. Do you have any questions?
Thank you very much, Julia.
Okay, thank you for coming. If you have questions, write to me, contact me on Facebook or LinkedIn. Okay, well, see you later.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to visit different presentations. Okay.
Yeah, now
Thanks
you can
a lot
relax.
and goodbye.